Welcome to the next segment. We are going to be talking about Gluware Topology in this segment, and with us is Kevin Irwin, Senior Director of Product Management. Kevin, Gluware Topology. Give us the 10,000-foot view, man. What is this thing you guys are announcing? Well, introducing. I guess you announced it at Cisco Live, right?
Right, yeah. So what Gluware Topology is a topology diagramming software that takes the power of Gluware's discovery data and renders it and shows a high fidelity version of your network.
Okay, so this means I'm going to get to see my icons and my lines and stuff, and see how my network looks from a visual perspective. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. So this would be. Is it basically doing Visios for me, so I don't have to draw them out? Is it that kind of a tool?
It's funny you mentioned that. A lot of our customers came to us with this challenge of I I design my networks and then I have to document them. And documenting networks, as you may know, is kind of like painting the Golden Gate Bridge. You start at one end, you finish at the other, and then once you're finished,
Yeah.
you have to start all over again.
Yeah.
So what
The
we
yeah.
what what we attempted to do here is to make it easier with real-time documentation of your network, so that you can export it to those Visio diagrams, even in redacted form, so that you can send it to a regulator or a third party or a corporate auditor.
Beautiful. Okay, so I can pull off IP addresses or any of that sensitive stuff, and I guess the big deal is I don't have to make the diagrams myself. Is what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's right. The Glueware system discovers all of your network data, and then it renders it in not real time, but near real time. It really is configurable based on how frequently you discover your network devices.
Okay. All right. I know you've got a video, so I want to see this thing. So let's fire up the video and get a look.
Sure. All right. So we start with a site's overview section. In the diagram, you'll see four data centers, one home office. We give the ability to hover over each site, show some details at a glance. And if you'll notice on the right side, there's an information panel that gives a little more detail in the activity status of the Glueware applications.
All right, let's pause here. So all those sites that we've got, these are sites that in my Glueware environment, I would have already defined those. There's going to be devices in them, and topology knows that. It's pulling from that metadata that's in Glueware already, and then creating all of those sites and linking them together. I didn't have to draw any of that. I didn't have to define any of that. That was already all known, correct?
The only thing you have to define is the sites and the devices, how they relate to them, and then from there, because of the Glueware data, everything gets linked together. We use state of the network device as well as configuration to build all the relationships.
Okay. Now, the drawing itself, the way the icons are laid out, the lines that interconnect, does Glueware Topology make an attempt, and then I go in with my mouse and kind of drag things around until they look pretty?
Not at this point right now. We're in our first version, but that will be coming in future versions as a custom view.
Okay, so the view I'm getting now, and like what we were just looking at in the video a second ago, that was just automatically generated for me.
That's right.
Perfect. All right, let's keep going.
All right. So we continue to demonstrate the hover functionality. We've got the capability of drilling down into each of these sites, which comes right here. Now you see the network topology for that site. Just like with Sites Overview, you can hover over device. We show detailed information in the side panel, including more site details, location, and contact info. Then when we actually click into the network devices, we start to see some of the details about each. We can hover over links to show link speed and status. And then if you see some of these colored icons, these are the statuses of the Glueware applications, of whether they can discover or whether they can access the devices or not.
All right, let's pause here. We've got pretty colors, and I want to talk about pretty colors, Kevin. So this is not, Gluware Topology is not an SNMP polling engine. That is, that diagram with the different colors and network statuses is not showing me like real-time monitoring. It's showing me, as you mentioned this a little bit earlier, the last time Gluware went through and did a discovery of the network. That's correct, right?
Yeah, that's correct. We don't position ourselves to be a monitoring platform. We're a configuration management, audit, and discovery platform. So all of this device data is discovered from the Gluware system, going into your network devices, pulling all the configuration data, and then merging it together and creating the device relationships.
Now, as I was looking, I saw mostly like physical layer information. I didn't see, oh, these are OSPF adjacent neighbors, or oh, this is an ether channel with layer 2 going between the two. Is that right, or do I get like a layer 2 or a layer 3 view?
Yeah, so in our first release, we'll be sticking to the physical topology. As we start to mature the product, we'll start to do more layers and move up the stack.
Got it. Okay. All right. I think the video was just about done, but let's finish it up.
All right. So yeah, again, we can hover over to see invalid credentials, whether something is reachable or not. And then the last one is whether it's a device that we're aware of that's discoverable or undiscoverable. We give a search functionality, as well as exporting to Visio or PDF. And like I said earlier, we can redact information so that you don't send sensitive network diagram info to a third party.
Got it. Okay. So Gluware Topology then is basically, you've given me a diagram add-on to the Gluware functionality that I already had. You're mining the data it's already known to the Gluware environment, creating that visual representation, and then helping me out with some basic functions. And in theory, I don't have to do Visio anymore. That diagram that Gluware is creating for me within Gluware Topology is going to be, it should be a lot more up-to-date and accurate than that painting the Golden Gate Bridge process you were talking about. It never ends. You get to the other end and then you have to paint it again. That's network diagrams for me were always out of date the minute I finished them. It seems like I had to start all over again. And Gluware Topology is fixing that problem for me.
Yeah, this was actually, it was brought to us from one of our large global customers. They have a requirement that they have to send redacted network diagrams to regulators, for proof of what they're doing with their networks. And we realized that, hey, we have all of your configuration data. We understand the challenges, with keeping the up-to-date diagrams. We can solve this problem for you.
Kevin, is there anything else you wanted to mention about Gluware Topology that we didn't get to yet?
Again, I just want to make sure that the people are aware, this is not real-time data. This is discovered based on how frequently the customer wants to discover their device data. And we're really happy to evolve the product going forward.
Excellent. Thanks for showing it off, man. It was very cool. Is it going to be up on the website where I can gather more information?
Release is coming in about Q3 or Q4 this year, but we'll continue to keep the market updated on our progress.
Excellent, Kevin. Thanks for chatting.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That was Gluware Topology. And stay tuned. Coming up in the next segment, we're going to be talking about Gluware RPA, Robotic Process Automation. It's all about APIs and workflows. So stay tuned. We'll be back in 10 seconds or so.